Okay, we talked in this week's of the episode, we dove into how to quantitatively improve the search engine. Now we want to look at like how can we actually measure the quality to find potential gaps in our search engine or in search database. The first metric we will be looking at is precision. And precision measures how many of the search results are actually relevant. And the best way to imagine that is basically as you shooting at a target. If you fired 10 shots and 7 of them hit the target, your precision is basically 7 out of 10 or 70%. So you only care basically about the proportion of your shots that hit the target. And in retrieval, this is basically how many of the retrieved documents are actually relevant. And you measure that with your test set, where you basically have queries, and for each query you have a set of documents which are labeled as relevant, and you have a set which is often labeled as irrelevant as well. But here you basically only care about what proportion of the labeled relevant documents do you actually return. And precision has a bunch of different applications where it's really important. One, it's like the user time is limited. Here you don't really care about like covering a broad basis of documents, but you want to return relevant documents even if it's only a few. And the second one is basically information overload. For example, news aggregators, you don't want to cover like a broad basis of news, but you want to return news that are relevant to the specific user. So you want to narrow it down and be rather focused that you return relevant documents and not a lot of or a broad basis of documents. And also the last one, when false positives are very costly. So for example, in spam filters, it is very costly that you classify something as spam, which is not, which is an important email that the user should read. And in these cases, you're going for precision and not for recall. And precision and recall are one of the biggest trade-offs you basically have in retrieval. Precision basically says of the documents we found, how many are relevant. Recall, which we will be going deeper into in the next video, is like of all relevant documents, how many did we find? And if you're looking at your search database, you can take different strategies in the retrieval. Like one is basically the sniper strategy. In the sniper, you're optimizing for precision. So you can imagine you take your time, you aim the shot precisely, and you're very likely to hit the target. So you have high precision, but you cannot take as many shots, so you might not return a lot of results, or you might even run the risk that you don't return any. And in the shotgun strategy, you're going rather for hitting a lot of the targets, so you get a lot of results, but there might be a lot which are not really relevant. And if you want to improve precision in your information retrieval, like you determine that actually precision is something that's lacking, you can implement a bunch of different strategies. One is you can use more specific search terms. So you basically make the query more specific, or you use something like the Boolean add or not, so a Boolean search, where you add additional terms to the query, but with the measure and or not, and not an or. You can implement ranking algorithms to prioritize relevance, which is basically like a filter after your search results. Here we already have like use and operators instead of or. And you can also incorporate user feedback. And this is often also through re-ranking or something similar. And you can also add cutoffs. And this, especially like if you're doing semantic search, this can be very important, but also this can lead to no results. And one important caveat to remember is you can have 100% precision in a system that returns only one highly relevant document, but it still might miss a lot of other documents which are relevant to the user. So you have to be aware of the precision recall trade-off.